Welcome to the Postgame podcast. No Jerry today, so I've got Rami this morning. Good morning, Rami.
Good morning, Al. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I don't have any critiques for you today as
Oh,
far as
no.
like normally I'll wait for the podcast to talk about your work and that sort of thing.
My performance review.
Yeah, your performance review. But today I wanted to talk to you about one of the things Jerry and I love talking about, the different media nowadays.
Yes.
How many different podcasts? Now, well, first of all, are you a millennial or something else?
I'm a Gen Z officially. I'm
So
the
it
first year
goes-
of Gen Z.
Okay, so it goes
Millennial ends in 96 and Gen Z starts in 97.
okay, and millennial came after me, Gen X.
I think so.
So it goes
But I
Gen
have to look it
X, millennial,
Yeah.
and then your first
Gen Z.
Gen Z. All right, so
Yes.
you might be on the cusp.
I am technically on the late 90s are kind of their own little thing where we're kind of in between. But
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
technically a Gen Z.
So are you a podcast consumer?
Yes, I am a podcast consumer. I've been a podcast consumer since I want to say I remember listening to podcasts in 2009. So I've been consuming podcasts for about as long as people have been consuming
And
podcasts.
what were those?
That was at the time Bill Simmons, because my father listened to Bill Simmons, and Adam Carolla my father listened to.
Oh, that was early on.
Yes. So I would listen to both of those just in the car with my father. And then I kind of, I was a big sports fan. So I kind of got into Bill Simmons a little bit more then. And really, I don't listen to him all the time, but I pretty much since then have listened to him on and off for the last, I don't know, what is that, 17 years?
Long time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Adam Carolla one, to me, now I'm sure there were guys doing podcasts that had no following.
Yeah.
Before Adam Carolla, before Mark Maron, before Joe Rogan, all these guys were doing that before. But there are certain guys that brought it more to the forefront. And I would put Adam Carolla in there.
100%. Brought it mainstream.
Yeah, because Adam Carolla was one of, when Howard Stern left our company in 2000, it was the end of 2005, the start of January 2006. David Lee Roth took over the East Coast. A guy named Rover took over a couple stations in the Midwest. And then Adam Carolla got the West Coast cities, LA, Phoenix, Las Vegas. And there were a couple stations where he did well, but
overall did not do well, right?
Overall, no one did well following Howard Stern.
Right, okay.
It was a tough follow. But when he got let go or he didn't get renewed or whatever it was, he started doing the podcast.
Immediately? So that's what, like 2006?
He may have lasted a year or 2 years doing some of the radio. So maybe 2007, 2008. So I think he was one of the earlier ones.
That's unbelievable. So he was like an early adapter of podcasting. And he's still, I would say he's very popular, right? I think he still is, right?
Yeah.
So do you credit him more, or do you credit just being early on the game that he is that popular?
I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Right.
Like if Adam Carolla hadn't done that and Adam Carolla showed up today to do a podcast, it would be tough.
Right.
So I think he's a good broadcaster, and I think he was one of the early. And the interesting thing with him too is he had like a cast of people.
Right. So for me, his show felt like a radio show.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, like, where did he get advertisers way back then?
To advertise, right.
But he may have had some advertisers that loved him on the radio. And when he left, they said, let's follow this guy and see what he has.
Right. I don't know, because he's told his story, how he ended up on the radio and how he ended up, writing for Jimmy and all that and meeting Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
So he's told that story. I don't know how, I'm sure he's told it, but I don't remember ever hearing how it transitioned into a podcast. And you're right, because right away he was doing news. He was doing he had someone who was running some sort of soundboard, because they had drops on that show. Like there were different things. And I would listen to it as pretty much like it was a radio show.
Right.
And they were doing ad reads and they were doing live reads and breaks for commercials. So he had that voice guy that he always had, like the guy with the super deep voice who would do announce stuff for him. So yeah, he was running basically a full-fledged show that you need funding for. So I would say he must have come into it with some sort of backing.
Or maybe he got paid out on a contract.
And funded it himself for a little bit. That's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's possible that, do you know if whatever network he was working for was like, hey, the radio show's not working. but we're still paying you. Go do something for us while we're paying you. We'll fund it. And then that actually became successful.
Yeah, I don't think that
Okay.
was a thing.
Because that happens to people, right? Where it's like, hey, we need you to kind of do this project because you're still in a contract.
I think the first time that happened with this company was when, and maybe it was Entercom, it wasn't Odyssey,
Okay.
different owners, was when um, Kurt, what's his name up? Kurt Minahan
Yes.
was in Boston radio.
Right.
And they took him off of WEEI, but they were still had to pay him. So they made him do a podcast for radio.com. And I think they made him do not even a podcast. I think it was a live radio show
Just
on radio.com
streaming
and then
only.
would be podcast.
Right.
It's just so interesting to me that the companies now compete against themselves, right? So we have like I'll be doing the Boomer and Geo show, and up on my X account will say CMAX starting a live stream about last night's Yankee game.
Right.
I'm like, okay, so now
Where you're
we're
telling our
competing
audience
against, yeah, now I'm competing against CMAC.
There's a couple things. And also, if you notice, like the new IDs we played today were all, you can catch the Carton Show on YouTube and Instagram and social media and Twitter, and they're not even promoting. And then at the end, this is WFAN, like, but the number one thing they're promoting are all the other things outside of what you're currently listening to. And even, I know they tell us to do this, hey, if you want to hear us talk about X, go listen on the Odyssey app. So now you're turning people away from what they're currently listening to go rewind to earlier in the show. Now, I guess what the other argument is, and this is what I think it is that if we're talking about, I don't know, say surprise penis, and somebody wants to hear a thorough breakdown of the Yankees and they come to us, well, I could go to a different Yankee podcast, or, oh, perfect, we're promoting that you could either rewind and listen to our show, or you like us, you probably like CMAC. We talk about CMAC a lot. He's starting something right now on X and on YouTube. He's going live to talk about the Yankees. So I think it's not really splitting your audience, because the audience will go find what they want to find elsewhere. If they don't, it's having multiple options for your audience, because I don't think it's enough to just serve your audience the one show. That's what I think it is.
I guess kind of like the first time I heard a company competing with itself, I think was when I was a Sirius XM subscriber.
Okay.
So you would be listening to, say, 70s on 7, and they might promote 80s on 8. But you were still consuming the Sirius XM products, just like you're still consuming Odyssey.
Exactly.
Whether you're listening to an Odyssey podcast, an Odyssey YouTube stream, an Odyssey Instagram stream, or Odyssey on the physical radio.
Right.
It's all their content.
It's all our content. It's all our advertisers. It's all our personalities that, okay, look, for example, if Evan's starting Enrico Bronya at 7:55 in the morning and we're on the air, maybe someone who usually doesn't listen to Evan and Tiki is like, hey, I kind of like that, and I'm going to go now listen to Evan and Tiki. I think they all feed each other. So that's what I think is part of it also. I think when we did the live stream, like during that Knicks playoff game and the draft, I think that feeds, oh, wow, I never listened to the morning show, but I really love how Boomer interacted with CMAC on that stream. I'm going to go tune in and see what he's got to talk about tomorrow. I think the whole point is to expose, because at the end of the day, you kind of talked about this with Jerry. I don't know if it was this week or last week, about the industry as a whole. People are listening because they like the personalities.
Right.
We could talk about anything. We really could. We could do, if we did 4 hours tomorrow about beaver in the water, like, I don't think we'd lose that many listeners. I really don't. It's just people like to hear the dynamics of you and Boomer and Greg. And, if I pop in from here and, Jerry, like, people love the personalities. And so I think you're trying to expose these personalities on as many platforms as possible so that people can, fall in love with them or get that kind of intimate feeling that you get. And then ultimately, I think it all feeds into each other. So the radio show feeds into the social media feeds back into the radio show.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the only time you'd be doing a disservice if you say, okay, people are coming for the personalities, is if like a Jackson Dart got legitimately hurt in practice and we're doing surprise penis.
Oh, of
which
course.
We don't
yes,
do.
Yeah, we don't do that though.
Yeah.
That's not, yeah, exactly. And that's where also the immediacy of podcasts, which is so funny because at the beginning it was like, oh, podcast is immediate because I could just sit down and record. And now every big podcast, like I listen to Part of My Take every day, they only do Monday, Wednesday, Friday podcasts. So if there's a huge story on a Friday afternoon, they're not hitting on it till Monday morning, just like us. It used to be an advantage where, oh, the radio, they're live right now. And if it's, if something breaks, like what happened with us when Carlos Mendoza got fired, it broke during our show, but we really couldn't talk about it. Or the Knicks is a perfect example. They win the championship on a Saturday night, and the Boomer and Geo show didn't get to talk about it until Monday morning. Like, that's a disadvantage.
Unless they went on the FAN social medias and did a short video or a quick
Exactly.
video.
An instant reaction, which is also why it's good to build up those channels, to have those channels be popular and keep content there, because that way we can use them for instances like that. But yes, I think that's part of, like, it used to be, oh, podcasts have the advantage, but now the biggest podcasts don't even use that advantage anymore.
Right.
So I think the live and local still is a better advantage than the, oh, well, we could turn it on whenever, because you don't.
Do you think there's something to something being on live versus a podcast?
I do personally.
Yeah, I
and
do too.
maybe I'm old school, and maybe it's because I grew up like listening to the radio in the car, but and you said it the other day, if I'm in the car and Craig's show is on in the afternoon, am I going to go back and listen to it from the beginning? Well, when they go to commercial, I'll probably go back and listen on the Odyssey app. But otherwise, I'm listening live. I feel like I'm a part of it. I want to,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm there with them. Like, I feel like I'm listening to it. I always want to listen live, or as
Yeah,
close
me
to live
too.
as possible.
Yeah, I'm the same way, like, with that. I like to listen, and what's funny is I'm, like, so critical of the shows here on the radio
Yeah.
station. Like, I'll be very critical of it. And yet, when I get in my car and I'm just being a listener, and I like Craig and C-Mac,
Yeah.
right? I like Evan and Tiki. I'm not when I put them on, I'm not critical of anything they're doing. So I'm not like, "Why are they talking about the Bayonne Little League?"
Right.
At that moment, I'm just listening to Craig and C-Mac.
And you're enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah, I guess if it got, like, really in depth about something I wasn't interested in. But and that was always my point about, why I didn't like guests on the radio.
And that's that's what I was going to say.
So, like, if I put on the afternoon show and I like C-Mac and Craig, and they're talking about Bayonne Little League, and I have no interest in that, they might get off it in 30 seconds. They
Right.
might get off it in 2 minutes. If you're now introducing the head coach and I'm not interested, to me, that would always signal, let me go find something else and I'll come back.
Yes. So it depends. The head coach might not be the best example because, like, you could still do a compelling interview or compelling conversation, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm not a Giant fan, and I don't find Joe Shane to be particularly interesting. I thought the interview yesterday that Boomer and Greg did with him was awesome. I
Right.
thought it was so fun. You got information. You got both Harbaugh, and it's not just because I work on the show. I'm obviously a big fan of the show also, but they did an awesome job with both John Harbaugh, who, to the best of my knowledge, Greg's never met in person. And to have that kind of rapport with him, and John's part of that also. He's really great at doing these interviews.
And we're preseason. Everything's great right now.
Nothing's wrong. There's no big injuries, Calvin Austin, but okay, so I'm not a Giant fan. I really enjoyed both of those conversations. I listened to Craig with Jackson Dart, because I listened to some of the Brian Burns yesterday with the midday show, because it was interesting, because they did compelling radio. But the problem is, if it's somebody I've never heard of, if you bring in some random person that I don't know who they are, then I'm not interested.
Right. Especially what I'm thinking in that is because there's so much content. Are you giving people a reason to go elsewhere? Even if it turns out to be really compelling, maybe you didn't give it a chance.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
because you're looking for an opportunity to go, okay, I got to catch up on these podcasts. I'll go back and listen to the beginning of the show because I'm not interested in Jackson Dart. I'm a Jet fan. Even though it might end up to be a great interview, did you give it a chance? And that was the thing I found. I think I used this example with the Jerry interview and when Craig was in here actually on the podcast, was we had the Indianapolis 500 driver who won the Indianapolis 500. It was very low rated segment, and it was a hilarious interview that Boomer and Craig did with them because they don't know anything about Indy 500. It was more them goofing around with the guy, and it was so funny. I remember being so funny. But if you looked at the ratings for that segment, it was terrible because we gave people a reason to go, I'm not interested in the 500. Let me see what else before they even hear the guy's voice.
Yeah, that's true. And by the way, but that goes back to the beginning of this conversation, why we are in so many places now. So, like, if Craig's bringing on a guest and I don't care about the guest, because I was listening to their show, it's like, you know what? I don't care about this guest, but I'm more inclined right now to rewind and listen to a different segment from their show than to go to Pardon My Take or a different
That's
podcast right
fair.
now because I heard them talking and I'm like, it's top of mind right
Yeah.
now. So yes, maybe, and I'll always, again, it's different because I think, well, Craig is really fun with guests, and so like I'll stay a little bit when you guys always had whenever you guys had guests, I would listen just maybe I will enjoy it. And then maybe I won't enjoy it as much. But if I might still come back and listen to it on 1.5 speed later. Like, because yes, it's not the most compelling, but I'll listen anyway. Like when I listened to the Jackson Dart interview, and Jackson Dart was pretty boring. Like, he's not going to give you a lot. He's just kind of a guy who's going to give you coach speak and be really safe. And it's cool because he's got this big personality. Clearly, he's dating a supermodel. He's diving off boats and playing football. Like, he's clearly got that personality, but when he's doing a media interview, he's like as straight as
He's
they
not going to
come.
say something that will wind up as a
Exactly.
headline.
So it's kind of cool to see that like duality. And he, but like I still listened to it on 1.5 speed. I was like, you know what? Not as interesting as I would have hoped, but I'm still going to listen to it
How often do you listen to things at faster speed than normal?
most of the time.
And would you go more than 1.5 speed ever?
It depends. If I'm trying to like, there are some things that I feel like either for this show or just for whatever reason I really want to get through. I really want to hear it, and I want to hear as much of it in a shorter amount of time. I'll go up to 1.8, like to try and just get through it.
Yeah.
And I find myself, I mean, this is terrible. Even with so with YouTube, now you could just hold down and it goes, oh, this part seems boring. I'll
Right.
just,
Two,
yeah,
two
two times
times
speed,
speed.
just hold down for a little bit. And now, like with Netflix, I'm like, all right, I'm at a boring part of the movie. Let's go. Because you could do it on Netflix,
I didn't know
1.25,
that.
1.5. It's crazy. And it's terrible because, like, you're watching TV, just watch it. Like, where are you in a rush to? But, like, TikTok, I'm full. Like, I watch a lot of these, like, true crime stories on TikTok, and some of them are like 8 to 10, 15 minutes long, all on 2 times speed. Yeah, it's great. Like, I do everything on social media on 2 times speed, all videos on social media on 2 times speed. But put it this way, like, when Part of My Take does an interview, I'll do the interview at 1.5, but when they're solo, I'll do their content at 1.25
Okay.
because I want it a little bit slower. So with Craig's show or any radio show, if I'm listening back, the most I can go is to 1.25 because the music and the rejoins, I still want the feeling of the radio to it. And 1.25, it doesn't lose any of that. 1.5, all of a sudden the music sounds distorted and the rejoins sound distorted, and it throws the whole thing off for me. Um, but again, if there's an interview, I'm gonna speed it up a little bit.
It's funny. I listen to Joe Rogan at 1.5 speed no
Right.
matter what. It doesn't seem fast to me or anything.
Right.
Occasionally, like when I listen to Dave Ramsey, who is a call-in show about money, because of there's callers, the callers I have to have at normal speed because otherwise I can't understand them.
Right.
So
Which is terrible for you. You have to slow it down for the callers.
slow
That
down
is
for
your
the callers, yeah.
personal torture chamber.
But then the next morning, I might go back to Joe Rogan and it's running at normal speed, and all I listen to is 1.5. It sounds so bizarre.
slow.
It sounds
Yes.
like Joe Rogan's it's like the Joe Rogan
Right.
experience. I'm like, what is this? And that's
Yeah.
regular speed?
Yeah. That is the worst when sometimes I had something that was like with like when I listen to this podcast, if I'm clipping something or a lot of times if I'm not here, I'll just pull it, I'll screen record it at like regular 1 speed, right? And then like so I could clip it for a drop. And then like if I don't go back, I'm like, why is it so slow? What's going on? If I don't quickly go back to 1.5. See, that's the
Yeah.
kind of thing. If I'm like mining for drops, but you guys are talking about you're talking about your blood work, and I'm only listening for drops
Yeah.
at that point.
So you go, brrr.
Yeah. 2 times speed,
Yeah.
slow it down when I find the part that but the problem is, and Spike told me this all the time, he never listened to anything on more than 1 time speed because he wanted to hear in the matter in which it was intended, and like he felt like he would miss things. Like,
For when he was being critical of the station or in his own personal life listening to podcasts?
so the way I understood it was everything, which was shocking to me because
That's
he listened to
interesting.
a ton of stuff. Like, put it this way, he had me sending him, and I was new here as a producer, as a part-time producer, and he had me sending him 5 mock opens a week that were between 8 and 12 minutes. So that means he was consuming, do the math on that, at least 50 minutes on average of Rami content at regular speed. That's before he listens to the radio station. That's before he listens to
Yeah.
anyone like
I think if he's listening for a potential on-air person and for work, listening to the product that he's
the
working
radio
for, you
station,
got to
right?
listen to that at regular speed.
But you think if he's listening for entertainment,
Yeah,
he
I think
might
if
do
he puts on Joe
1.5?
Rogan, he's got to. I would
I
think.
think so, but the way I understood it was not, unless I misunderstood him when he said that.
I really want to get to the point where I can listen to everything in 2 times
Of course
speed.
you do.
Because with Rogan, I'm 1.5, and then when
Takes you
it
too long to get through it.
when he no, not 1.5 is good, but when he inevitably gets to talking UFC with no matter what guest he has, that goes 2 times
Of
speed.
course it
So I
does.
go, and sometimes I look down, I'm like, this has gone on for like 35 minutes. What are
Yeah.
we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but the part of my take, like I was listening, I was telling you this, that I'm on the way in, and they did 35 minutes to start their show of Jed York content. Like that was 35 minutes. And it wasn't like in-depth breakdown. It was just 35 minutes of Jed York jokes. Their entire Wednesday podcast to start the show. So like I love that. So like I could have done an hour of that. Like when the Diana Rossini stuff happened, they initially didn't talk about it, it was a miscalculation on their part because it dropped like while they were recording. And they didn't want to touch it. They're friends with Vrabel, they're friends with Rossini. So they were just like, they didn't know what to do. And then obviously the next day it blows up and their podcast just came out that morning and they didn't talk about it.
Right.
And now you're the number one podcast and who's made a name for yourselves by no one's protected. We take shots at everyone. And now here's the biggest story in sports and you're not taking shots because you have a relationship with this person. So they brought in Jerry O'Connell, who's their, I don't know, he's their fantasy football expert, but does a bunch of stuff. Obviously, he's an actor. And he comes on the show and he's a pretty regular guest with them. And he did an hour and a half just on like grilling them, but also making fun of the Rossini Vrabel situation. I could have listened to 4 hours of that. Like I wanted that to slow down to 0.75 speed. Like I wanted that to last forever.
Yeah. Do you think it's weird that we now consume things at faster speed than normal?
Yeah, I think we have something wrong with our brains.
Yeah.
Like I said, like the TikTok, I'm scrolling on TikTok and everything, I'm automatically at 2 times speed. Like that's the baseline. And that's just a short 30-second video that's for entertainment. Like, why does that? Sometimes, like, I'll notice it because I went to, I went to the concert and I'm looking at like other people posting Bruno Mars and habitually I'll hold down at 2 times speed for music. No, I'm like, wait, no, I'm not doing that. Like
Yeah, you
for a
can't do it
music
for
video,
music.
like you
Yeah.
want to enjoy the music. Like that's crazy. So yeah, I think it's like, it's an absurd like ADD. Like it's a dopamine rush where you're like, give me more and more content, as much content as I can get. And I think it's super unhealthy.
It's funny because people listening to this now who listen only at normal speed, it sounds crazy. And the first time you put on something at faster speed, you go, I can't listen to this.
Yeah, there's no way.
But eventually you will get there. And what's really funny is to be in the car with somebody who doesn't consume podcasts or anything like that. And they're in the car and you put on what you listen to at the speed you listen to.
Yep.
They think it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, how do you hear what they're
Right,
saying?
exactly.
But
And
your brain adjusts.
or you go into the car with someone who's at 1.75 and you're a 1.25 person. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like slow this down. Yeah.
Yeah, very funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I got to start. I for YouTube, I keep it at regular speed and I'll hold the screen if I want to go fast through a
Yep.
spot. But at some point, I will get to listening to everything on YouTube.
But even like I'm watching Surviving Barstool now, it's like a reality TV show they do. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
And like for certain slower parts, I keep holding down the screen. Like, why? Just watch it.
I know.
It's done so well. The music they put, like the production is done so well. Just watch it.
Yeah. We've rushed ourselves through content so that we can.
Why do you think?
Because so we want to consume more
Everything.
of it. We need it all. What I don't understand, what I do sometimes with these podcasts, certain ones that I listen to, is I almost treat it like a homework assignment where
I have to listen to it.
yeah, like
and I
I'm
have to get
painfully
it done.
listening to a Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
Like, why am I listening to this
Right.
if it's not really
Yeah.
engaging me?
I'm not a college football fan. I sat through like 20 minutes of part of my take doing Stanford Steve's college football preview. And I'm like, I'm really not enjoying this. I just moved my thumb and
Yeah.
scroll forward a little bit. But like I did for 20 minutes sit there listening to it. Like, why? I wasn't
Right.
enjoying it. I'm not a college football fan. Like, I wasn't enjoying it at all. I was like, oh, maybe I will get into college football. No, I didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah, maybe this will do it. This will get me into college football.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of content that we need, and I don't know, and I guess we'll finish with this, but like, e- I need time at home, and sometimes a lot of times in the morning when I first drive in, just silence. I
See,
need
Jerry
nothing.
has that.
Like,
I can't have the
when I'm
silence.
eating dinner, unless it's a baseball game, like the Yankee game can be on TV, that's fine. I can't scroll on my phone. I can't have music or something playing, even like a podcast. I just want silence while I'm eating dinner. Like there's certain moments in my day. I'm not someone who like listens to music or something in the shower. Like there's certain times of the day that I just want to think. I just want my brain to be, because my brain's loud enough as it is. Like my brain's always moving. So sometimes I just want that noise and to eliminate all the other noise. And a lot of times, and this is probably, this is psychology, but a coping thing where like I'm using the other noise to eliminate a lot of the noise in my head. So sometimes I just need to like quiet everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't do that enough. I feel like I always have
Yeah,
something
that
on,
like
but I
the way you
should.
talk, you always have something on the TV on YouTube. Like you said, you have something like when you're watching dinner, you'll have something
Yeah, I'll
on.
have you like a YouTube video on.
Yeah,
I will put the music on when I go in the shower.
Yeah,
It-
my wife's like that, and I can't. Like I just
yeah,
need like peace.
I
At
should
some
try
point.
that. A moments of
Try it
peace.
on the drive-in because the drive-in, like that's the time that you really
Quiet,
Yeah, it's quiet out.
dark.
It's dark. No one's
The
out there.
roads are smooth.
I love it.
Yeah, I love the ride in.
Yeah.
All right, Rami, let's do the warm up program. Now, I did that with Gordon Damer this morning.
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got his name right this time, as
That's
opposed to
right.
during the warm-up show a couple times.
Now, tomorrow, Jerry is in for Boomer. So it'll be Gio and Jerry
Yes.
with CeeLo, I believe.
I think so.
Okay, and I'll have CeeLo. I'll try to find some controversial
Yes,
topics
you'll
to hit him
grill him.
with.
Yeah. Ask him if he's ever gotten a prostitute for $140.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That'd be my show opener tomorrow. All right. So.